Real New Now. Residents in one of Missouri's border states are ordered to stay home due to the COVID-19 outbreak. We have the latest on the ongoing situation.
Springfield Public School students won't be returning to class until at least April, but a controversial decision to call back certain employees has people on both sides of the issue speaking out. And the national emergency is hitting the farming industry hard. What the Missouri Farm Bureau says the industry is most in need of right now. Ozarks Fox News at 9 starts right now.
Real New Now. This is Ozarks Fox News at 9.
Well, thanks for joining us tonight at 9. I'm John Adams.
And I'm Jennifer Abreu. We want to begin with the latest developments in the COVID-19 pandemic. This is what you need to know right now. The latest numbers nationwide. More than 15,000 total cases reported. Total number of deaths, 201, including a third death reported in Missouri today. That was a 60-year-old woman in St. Louis County.
Now in Missouri, there have been 73 cases so far confirmed.
In Greene County, an 8th patient has tested positive for COVID-19. And in some good news tonight, a second person in Springfield who had previously tested positive has been medically cleared. Also today, the Community Foundation of the Ozarks pledging $1 million to help local nonprofits.
Missouri Governor Mike Parson today launching a website dedicated to updates on COVID-19.
We have also learned this evening that a member of the Missouri House of Representatives has tested positive for the coronavirus. Leaders will be clearing the Capitol for the next 10 days, and that means members and staff will stay out of the building.
Around the country, Illinois residents have been ordered to stay home. Governor J.B. Pritzker made the announcement today, joining the states of California and New York. And a member of Vice President Mike Pence's office has tested positive for COVID-19.
Lastly, if you heard a nationwide quarantine is happening and the National Guard is coming out to impose it, that's not true. A top National Guard general today refuting those rumors, saying there has not been any discussion of that.
Well, Springfield Public Schools will begin providing child care for first responders and healthcare workers next week. Paraprofessionals and support staff are being asked to return to work.
Now, there are exceptions, and those will be made for those who are sick, taking care of a loved one or their children. And as concerns about COVID-19 intensify, this decision has caused some controversy. Our David Chasanoff heard from both sides of the argument today. David, who did you meet with and what did they tell you?
Well, Jen and John, I spoke with SPS and a retired teacher in Nixa. When I asked him how he heard about this, he says a friend connected with the district had complained to him directly. Tom Krause's friend explained her health concerns. Krause agreed. He says it's the wrong move. He posted his thoughts on Facebook saying parapros and teachers have a right to protect themselves. Krause says SPS should bring in volunteers instead of calling people back to work. Now, Stephen Hall with the district says this program was a health department request. He says everyone involved will have their symptoms checked by a school nurse. Child care programs will be in groups of 10 or less. Hall says he understands why people like Tom are upset, but he brought up another point.
It is also the responsibility of us as public servants, organizations, institutions within this community to do everything we can to fill in the gaps, make life as normal, as good as it can possibly be during these challenging times, and that by doing so, some of that anxiety and that fear will fall away.
Contact the churches and see if they have volunteers. Some of them would say to contact the university if there's any students still there, like student teachers who need money, who are not afraid of the risk, would like to volunteer.
Now keep in mind, this is just parapros and support staff being required to work on site, and teachers who are preparing to teach online are being asked to work from home. And beginning this Monday, free breakfast and lunch will be available at every SPS school.
All right, David, thank you. Well, those working in agriculture are not immune to how COVID-19 is affecting the economy. While many farmers don't struggle with finding ways to socially distance themselves, many others are worried about the grain and cattle market drops and how they plan to pay for the next year's crops. Blake HURST, the president of the Missouri Farm Bureau, says farmers have never seen so many challenges hit all at once.
I mean, when you add all the things together, have we had poor markets before? Sure. Have we had financial crisis before? Sure. have we ever had a time when we've had declining markets, financial stress, threats to our labor supply? Have we ever had all those things at the same time? Well, we haven't. So I guess we're going to find out just how flexible and how resilient our system is.
HURST says it's not just agriculture, but rural areas in general. A lack of broadband internet in some parts of the state take away the option for virtual hospital visits as well as online schooling for students. HURST added that despite layoffs, there is not a shortage of food. However, there are concerns on having enough workers.
We're seeing a huge drop in restaurant consumption of food. About 50% of all food is eaten outside the home. That is gone except for drive-through and curbside pickup. And so all that demand is going to be shifted to grocery stores. So we're going to have to figure out how to change the food that typically would have gone to Applebee's or your local steakhouse and get it in the grocery store. So a lot of challenges.
HURST also added that farmers are concerned about their health in this outbreak as well, with the average age of farmers here in the U.S. around 58 years old.
Well, many seniors in the area would go to the Southside Senior Center for a warm meal and to socialize. But because of the coronavirus, all senior-age senior centers are closed right now through at least the end of March. But seniors can still stop by to pick up food. However, they won't get a warm meal, but will still get frozen meals to go. That's Monday through Friday from 11 until noon. And for those who can't get to the center, meals can be delivered too.
Well, they're concerned, but they're very grateful for us still delivering meals because a lot of them can't get out. You know, they're handicapped, or they don't have a vehicle, or they don't have families that can bring them in food.
All wellness programs, presentations, and tax counseling are also on hold for now.
Well, as many are transitioning to avoid contact with others, some are having to determine how they can gather to honor loved ones who have recently passed away. Community leaders have banned large gatherings, and funeral homes are now abiding by those rules as well. In Springfield, the Lohmeyer Funeral Home says besides staff, they have limited attendance by family and friends to only 10 people at a time. Although not everyone can meet together all at once, families are still able to stagger visitations and services to allow multiple groups in. But with no end in sight, Brian Simmons, the owner of Springfield Mortuary Services, says funeral homes and families still have options.
They've had to postpone some altogether and cut down on viewings and or just delay services altogether. And it's just going to be a fact of life, I think, until this pandemic has subsided. So perhaps do something private now and then think of a more public memorial service later, at a later date.
Staff at Lohmeyer say they have had families decide to hold a celebration of life service as soon as the bans are lifted. Funeral home also says they are working on giving families an option to record the service so it can be shown to others at a later time.
Making local news now, tomorrow the community will pay their respects and say goodbye to the police officer, Springfield police officer who was shot and killed Sunday night at a convenience store. A private funeral service will be held for Officer Christopher Walsh tomorrow afternoon. Members of the public are invited to view the procession from Battlefield Road at Kansas Expressway to Lone Pine, and that will be around 2:30 p.m. And because of health concerns, the burial ceremony will not be open to the public. Missouri Governor Mike Parson has ordered U.S. and Missouri flags to be flown at half-staff tomorrow to honor Officer Walsh. Walsh was one of 4 people killed when a man opened fire at the come-and-go on East Chestnut Expressway near Prince Lane late Sunday night. Another Springfield officer and a citizen were hurt. The gunman took his own life, and police are still investigating this shooting.
Well, taking a look around the region tonight, the National Weather Service has confirmed an EF2 tornado touched down in Marion County, Arkansas last night. Survey crews say the tornado also hit Boone County. People there in northern Arkansas are cleaning up after those storms caused significant damage in Eros. We spoke with a resident from Eros who recounts the moment she realized the storm was approaching her home.
I turned around and the wind was coming, and all of a sudden I'm seeing drywall falling and insulation hitting the ground over there.
Well, you just heard from Patti Marine. She was able to remain safe during the storm, but her house was not as lucky. She was expecting to be in the cleanup process today, but says she is just happy to be alive.
Well, let's check in with Beth at the Weather Lab. Beth, you have been covering some severe weather for the past 24 hours, but how is it looking ahead?
Good news is that things are going to be quiet tonight, mostly starry skies. It is going to be cold. Temperatures are going to drop back into the 20s. We'll have more sunshine tomorrow, but there is more rain in the 7-day forecast, plus a very warm up coming next week. We'll do that right after the break.
You're watching Ozarks Fox News.